In an industry where noise often overshadows nuance and spectacle frequently drowns sincerity, Thomasin McKenzie emerged not with thunder but with a quiet, unwavering intensity that slowly but powerfully captured the world's attention, proving that true artistry does not need to shout to be heard, it only needs to be felt. And from the very beginning of her journey in Wellington, New Zealand, born into a family deeply rooted in the creative arts, with her mother being the respected actress Miranda Harcourt and her father the filmmaker Stuart McKenzie, Thomasin grew up surrounded not by flashing paparazzi lights or Hollywood privilege, but by discipline, rehearsal rooms, scripts filled with emotional complexity, and conversations about character depth and truth, which would later become the foundation of her extraordinary performances. While many young actors chase fame, Thomasin pursued authenticity, and that difference is exactly what separates her from the crowd. Because when she appeared in the critically acclaimed film Leave No Trace, she did not simply play a role, she embodied a soul, portraying a teenage girl surviving in isolation with such raw vulnerability that critics around the world were stunned by the emotional maturity radiating from someone so young, and suddenly audiences realized they were witnessing something rare, not manufactured stardom, not social media-driven celebrity, but genuine talent shaped by patience and craft. What makes Thomasin McKenzie inspiring is not just her filmography, but the way she navigates fame with humility, never allowing the spotlight to define her identity. And when she stepped into the global phenomenon Jojo Rabbit under the direction of Taika Waititi, playing Elsa, a Jewish girl hiding during World War II, she brought quiet strength to a story filled with satire and darkness, balancing innocence with resilience in a way that left audiences deeply moved. And it was clear that this was not luck, not coincidence, but preparation meeting opportunity. Hollywood often pressures young actors to conform, to become louder, flashier, more controversial to stay relevant, yet Thomasin chose a different path, one grounded in thoughtful role selection and emotional intelligence, which became even more evident when she starred in Last Night in Soho, directed by Edgar Wright, where she navigated psychological horror with haunting subtlety, carrying a complex narrative with grace and psychological precision, demonstrating that true strength on screen is not about dominance but about depth. Because Thomasin's rise teaches that you do not need to change who you are to succeed, you do not need to sacrifice softness for strength, and you do not need to compromise integrity for attention. She represents a generation of actors who value storytelling over spectacle, who prioritize emotional truth over viral fame. Big productions like Old, directed by M. Night Shyamalan, she maintained her grounded presence, never allowing high-budget environments to dilute her authenticity, which is perhaps the most powerful lesson hidden within her journey, that no matter how big the platform becomes, your core must remain steady. But Thomasin's journey reflects steady growth, careful choices, and unwavering commitment to craft, showing that real success is built scene by scene, performance by performance, moment by moment, and beyond the screen she carries herself with quiet intelligence, often speaking thoughtfully about the importance of empathy, storytelling responsibility, and staying connected to reality in an industry that can easily detach individuals from their true selves. And in a world obsessed with overnight success stories, builds power, and that authenticity ultimately outlasts hype, reminding dreamers everywhere that sometimes the quietest voices create the loudest impact. And as her career continues to evolve with new projects, new challenges, and new dimensions of storytelling, one thing remains constant: her commitment to truth and performance, and that unwavering dedication is what transforms her from just another rising actress into a symbol of resilience, grace, and artistic integrity, inspiring countless young creatives to trust their individuality and believe that staying true to oneself is not a weakness but the greatest strength of all. As Thomasin McKenzie's career continued to rise, what became increasingly clear was that her success was not built on volume but on vibration, a subtle emotional frequency that audiences could feel long after the credits rolled. And in an era where celebrity culture often rewards controversy over craft, she quietly carved a space defined by discipline, introspection, and an almost old-soul understanding of storytelling, proving that longevity in Hollywood is not about constant exposure, but about consistent excellence. After the global recognition that followed Jojo Rabbit, many young actors in her position might have rushed into flashy franchise roles. Yet Thomasin's choices remained deliberate, thoughtful, almost protective of her artistic integrity, and that restraint became one of her most powerful career strategies. Because when she stepped into emotionally layered projects like The Power of the Dog, directed by Jane Campion, she demonstrated that she was not afraid of complexity or quiet tension, embracing roles that demanded internal conflict rather than surface-level performance. And it is in these subtle spaces, in the pauses between dialogue, in the flicker of expression, in the restraint of emotion, that Thomasin truly shines, reminding audiences that real acting is often about what is unsaid. Her collaboration with visionary directors also reflects her deep respect for the craft, as seen when she worked under the stylized intensity of Edgar Wright in Last Night in Soho, where psychological vulnerability blended with cinematic spectacle. Yet even amidst neon lights and suspenseful sequences, her performance remained grounded, human, and emotionally accessible, which is perhaps why viewers connect so deeply with her characters. They feel real, flawed, searching, and resilient. What makes Thomasin McKenzie inspiring beyond the screen is her refusal to let fame distort her perspective, often speaking about the importance of mental grounding, privacy, and remembering that acting is a job rooted in empathy rather than ego, and in doing so she challenges the narrative that success must come with arrogance or constant visibility, instead embodying a quiet confidence that whispers rather than shouts, yet echoes far louder. Growing up in New Zealand, far from the chaotic epicenter of Hollywood, shaped her worldview in a way that seems to protect her from the industry's excesses, allowing her to approach each role with curiosity rather than desperation, and this patience reflects a deeper lesson for anyone chasing ambition, that rushing the journey often weakens the foundation, while thoughtful progression strengthens it. Her appearance in projects like Old under M. Night Shyamalan further demonstrated her adaptability across genres, from intimate drama to psychological thriller, proving that versatility is not about transforming loudly but about adapting authentically. And as audiences watched her evolve from a breakout star in Leave, no trace into a respected performer trusted by award-winning directors, it became evident that her career was unfolding like a carefully written script, steady, intentional, layered, rather than a chaotic sprint toward temporary fame. There is a quiet rebellion in her journey, a refusal to conform to Hollywood's traditional blueprint of stardom, and that rebellion is empowering because it reminds creatives everywhere that success does not require losing yourself, that you can protect your boundaries, choose meaningful work, and still rise to international recognition. And in interviews, her thoughtful reflections on storytelling reveal an actress who understands the responsibility of representation, who sees characters not as stepping stones but as human experiences deserving honesty, and that mindset elevates her performances beyond entertainment into art. As younger audiences look for role models who reflect authenticity rather than artificial perfection, Thomasin McKenzie stands as a symbol of grounded ambition, showing that gentleness can coexist with strength, that introspection can coexist with confidence, and that staying true to one's roots is not a limitation but a superpower. And while her career continues to expand with new collaborations, evolving challenges, and deeper character explorations, one constant remains: her unwavering dedication to emotional truth, and that dedication transforms her story into something far bigger than filmography credits. It becomes a blueprint for sustainable success in a world addicted to instant gratification, proving that real impact is not measured by how loudly you arrive, but by how deeply you resonate. And as the industry continues to evolve, it is artists like Thomasin McKenzie who quietly reshape its future, reminding us all that sometimes the most powerful presence in the room is the one that does not need to demand attention because it naturally commands it through authenticity, discipline, and heart. As Thomasin McKenzie continues to evolve in Her career, what becomes more evident with every performance, is that her greatest strength lies not in transformation alone, but in transparency, in the courage to let audiences see fragility without filters.